my good sirs and ladybirds, welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about 10 things that made me realize that I needed help with my drug addiction. So my name is Danny and I make videos about my journey to recovery and the life that I lived and the things that I did along the way. So if this sounds interesting to you, please give me a big thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. That really helps the growth of my channel. And if you subscribe, you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. Making this list was no fun at all for me. Whenever I look back on who I used to be and how I used to live, I feel super ashamed and embarrassed of that. And it has actually triggered a couple of anxiety nightmares, but I feel like it's important to see how far I've come, and maybe the things that I talk about in this video will help somebody that's struggling like I used to. So let's just jump right into the list. Number one is my bed was actually 3 sofa cushions covered with a blanket. When I initially moved in, I was living on an air mattress and that air mattress went flat. So instead of going to buy another air mattress or buying like an actual bed, I just ran downstairs and grabbed a couple sofa cushions and slept on that for months. 4 months. Number 2, I was thrilled to lose about 15 pounds in 1 month. And that's because I was living off of Nilla wafers. Like I would eat between 1 to 2 boxes of Nilla wafers a day. And maybe I would supplement that with a cup of soup from Wawa on my way to work, but maybe not. The drugs that I were doing really suppressed my appetite, and for some reason, I thought I looked good, super skinny like that. Number 3, and this actually makes me feel so sad for who I used to be, having fun was getting high and either watching nature documentaries and like nodding out like 10 minutes in, only to regain consciousness like 2 hours later after the whole thing is over.
This extraordinary creature is half blind, half deaf.
Or reading a book. And when I say reading a book, I mean like reading the same page over and over again and then like nodding out and dropping the page on my face and then waking up and repeating the process. That's what I did for fun. Number 4 is the only people that I talked to outside of work were people that I either bought drugs from or did drugs with or both. A lot of times with drugs, the lines end up kind of blurred. The people that sell drugs are the people that do drugs, and you end up forming a weird type of relationship with them because you talk to them all the time to get drugs from them. And I remember looking at my phone, it was like a couple of weeks and I'd only talked to basically that one person. Number 5 is you spend $100 a day or more on party drugs to use by yourself. And I would get like coke and meth and I would use them alone in my bedroom and not go anywhere. Number 6 is definitely kind of gross, but I felt proud of myself. Like I got a feeling of accomplishment when I learned how to shoot myself up. Like I felt proud of myself. Like I learned a new skill and it made me feel good to know how to do that. Number 7, and this is actually pretty common for people whose drug of choice is heroin, is I had a drawer full of hundreds and hundreds of empty bags that the drug came in. And that was for like a rainy day circumstance. If I didn't have enough money or if I couldn't get anything, I could like take all of those bags and go through them and like get all the residue enough to like keep me from getting sick. It wasn't just me. Like I know pretty much everybody that did dope would save their scrapies, and I was one of them. I had a drawer with literally hundreds of empty dope bags in it. Number 8 is the amount of time I spent with my boyfriend was contingent on the amount of money and drugs that both of us had. So if I didn't have the right amount of drugs and or money, I didn't want to see him. I didn't want to be around him because my first priority was making sure my needs were met. And his was the same. So we barely saw each other basically. Number 9, and I will remember this for the rest of my life. Every once in a while, I'll get that taste down the back of my throat and it makes me want to puke, is Back in that time, I could not sniff my nose without some foul drug substance dripping down the back of my throat. Like, I literally could not go, I couldn't do that. If I did that, some foul globule made up of whatever hazardous substance or combination thereof that I had shoved up my nose a couple hours ago would linger down. It's just, oh. I will never forget the taste of that, and it gives me the heebie-jeebies to this day. Number 10, and this is for the most part, I thought all of this was normal. Like, this was my life. I had grown accustomed to it, and I thought this was par for the course. Like, I did not have the ability to look at myself and say, hey, what you're doing is not only weird, disgusting, but it's incredibly self-destructive. I did not have the ability to see that. I thought what I was doing and how I was living was okay, that it was fine, that I had it under control. I still credit my sobriety to this day with going to jail, because I actually had to go to rehab twice, and I was living in recovery houses after I got out of rehab, going to IOP, going to NA and AA meetings, but I was going to them under court order. So I still thought that I had everything under control. I just wanted to go back to my life. I wanted to get away from all this BS that everybody was clinging so desperately to. I was like, what the heck is wrong with these people? Why can't they live their lives? I don't need this. I just need to get these charges off my back. Then I can go back to my life. I'll be able to do it right this time. I'll do it right this time. The charges got dropped, and I would like to say I lasted a week, but I think that's a generous assessment. I relapsed with a quickness. And it wasn't just perks. Like, I went right back to heroin. I also went back to working at the strip club. Not only did I relapse in a week, but it was only a couple of months until I surpassed where I was before I went to rehab, when I was at my worst. So I ended up being worse than I had ever been before. It accelerated. My addiction accelerated. And I think that even though most of the time I thought it was normal, I think that because I still had some of that clarity and self-reflection left over from my time of sobriety, and because I think it was so recent, the addiction hadn't completely taken away my ability to see myself for what I truly was. And for that, I'm blessed, because I got help. What happened that really was the final straw for me, and I will remember this for the rest of my life. I actually rented a room from one of my drug friends where I had my lovely sofa cushion bed, and I was on the floor there. I'd wrapped my arm with my phone charger, and I was sitting there trying to put stuff in my arm, and I kept missing because I wasn't that good at it. And I just had like an instant, like an out-of-body experience, like looking down on myself from above, and how I would look to a normal person seeing me right there. And I felt such disgust for myself, such disgust and loathing for who I was and what I was doing. And I stood up and I took the drug and the needle and I flushed it and I got rid of it. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get help. And then I got high for the rest of the night. I still had stuff that was outside of the needle, so I did the rest of my stash, and in the morning, I called the woman that had been my drug counselor when I was under court supervision, and I asked her for help, and it was like 2 or 3 days before I was back in rehab. Like, that woman, I swear to God, she was my guardian angel in that time. This was me seeking help for myself of my own volition, because I knew that I couldn't do it any longer. I look at my rehabilitation from drugs in like two parts. The first part is me kind of forced to do it by the court system, which kind of led into the second part of me doing it of my own volition. That's it. That is my story of how after 10 years of addiction, I finally realized that I needed help. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you're somebody who's struggling with addiction, don't give up hope. There is so many resources out there for you. Just ask for help and you will get it. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. Give me a big thumbs up, leave a comment down below letting me know what you think about this video, and if you subscribe, you will be notified when I upload my next one. And until then, take care of yourselves, have a good day, and I will talk to you later.